Alright, for those curious on how I created the notepads are pretty easy. All I did was in the material itself. So let's say, for example, we have a particular material. Let's say you have any particular node. Let's say, for example, you have a color and you connect this color to the base color. Or let's say you have another color and you connect that to specular, or you connect that to roughness or whatever. You can actually select all of these, Control C on your keyboard, and then when you go and you create a notepad, you can actually paste these values here. So once you paste these values actually can become your material itself. So for example, I delete this, I go to this folder and then I select all this, copy, Control C and Control V. You'll see that those nodes exist. So Notepad is a very quick way of transferring files, but it's a very manual approach. All right. So I'm going to show you guys how I created from scratch again. So I have all the notepads necessary. So for example, if I see these notepads, let me just cancel this out. All right. So you have the notepads on my right, and what I want to do is I want to sort of import these guys inside Unreal Engine. So first I'll take my master material, which is the biggest of them all, and I'm going to create a new material. From here, right click, create a material, right? So that'll be my master material, this one, and in this material I'll Control V to paste it. So then I'll take this guy and then I'm just going to throw this somewhere in the final master material, right? And once I do this, then I'm going to take this one. So this is, you can see that these are metallic. So this is my metallic option. This is my specular option. This is my roughness, normal, whole position offset, and ambient occlusion. Now the rest, there's base color around here. So there's final base color, it comes from here. There's another one which is opacity, which comes underneath our opacity mask. So for this material, I used a mask blend mode. So this mask blend mode allowed me to create a dither opacity map, which pretty much works fine. At least it's pretty cheap, and unlike translucency, this one is more for mask, and it's quite optimized. These fonts actually are pretty big. I actually tried to make it big, but whenever I save it, it does not end up being big. All these guys are actually supposed to be pretty big, like for example like 149, and then they're actually supposed to show you which materials are supposed to change. So yeah, I have 4 main different types: 3 unique, 2 detailed, 1 material function, and these ones sort of tell you what is where, right? Anyway, so once I save this material, I'll be continuing the save. I know there are a lot of errors that are there because a lot of things that are missing, but I'm going to create a few material functions now. Right? So material function, I'm going to duplicate this 2, 3, and 4 times. Why? Because I have 4 different material functions. Alright, so let's start with the detail triplanar. So I'm going to Control A, Control C. I can come to this function and I can paste it, and I can take the output result to the output result of this one. So this will be my detail triplanar. So I'm going to save this. If you guys want to know the name, so then you just can copy the name, press F2 to copy the name, or select the name, copy and paste it. So that's detail triplanar. You can take material function mask edge, so you can F2, Control C, and paste it on this material function. So then this will be the mask edge. You just copy the appropriate notepad for this. So then you have the mask edge, Control A, Control C, paste it. And this subtract node goes to the output. And you apply. And then what we have is we have material function moss. Now moss is just a very generic name. It can be snow, it can be anything on top of the object. I had no idea what to name it, so I named it material function moss, and because it also looks like a moss, or at least has the properties of a moss, or you can make it property of a moss, or that's when it's most commonly used, like moss on rocks, those kind of stuff, more for environmental. Moss, snow on top. All right, then we have material function moss, which is 4.22 or lower. Now I have 4.23, so it's completely okay. Then I have the triplanar, so this will be my triplanar. I'm going to copy paste the name first. So this is my normal triplanar. There was a detailed triplanar, now there's a normal one. Oops. Normal triplanar, Control A, Control C. Alright, and apply. Alright, so these should do it. These should be all the things that are needed for the master material itself. And of course, I'm going to rename the master material. You can name it whatever you like. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to call this master material CD blend. Right? So open this up. Now let's start changing these things. So replace this with a mask edge function. So come on over here. This is a mask edge. The result goes in here, and the appropriate options that are displayed go underneath here. It's quite easy to set up. Next up is a MOS function. Material function MOS. Base color normal map, tiling, and fuzzy shader switch. And then this one goes to the output. Then we have our detail ambient occlusion. So this will be our material function detail triplanar, texture object, UVs, and true. Then we have our not so detailed one, which is material function triplanar, texture object, normal map, and true. This is a detail, so you can actually control click on all these guys, on all the detailed one if you like. So this is material function detail triplanar. The reason why they're different, because the one inside of it actually has a triplanar use local space, as well as a switch for detailed triplanar projection. So they're very specific to the detail itself, or the detail map, or the second map. These two are unique, so they're like the first map. So we have the normal triplanar for it, and the options are very specific to within it, or the switches are very specific inside of it. Alright, and once I do that, that should conclude what we need to change. Let me just apply the changes, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 changes in total. Material as you like. So let's say I'm going to save it, and then you right click on the material, create a new material instance, and then you can drag and drop these on the object. Now of course these are by default. You can sort of see that there seems to be some problem here. Let's double check why. So I think that was just the reflection problem, because I put black, and black was reflecting nothing because the screen space was black. But now we can see that these are working. As we see before, it's actually just very hard to see it. It's not that it's not there, it's just that it's like it's a black roughness, which means if you guys apply any map in there, that should show which area is rough and which area is not. And if you adjust the roughness amount, that should also do the job. So it's basically this metallic value that you guys need to adjust. And let's say, for example, if you guys have or you guys prefer a white one, for example, you can take this white material from the engine itself. So let's say, for example, we have this white texture. We can see that there is something there, and we can actually reduce this metallic adjustment, and then we start seeing it. Right? So don't worry about that. That should still work perfectly fine. I'll actually go through another video where you guys can actually use these materials and see how they actually look like. Alright, so that should conclude how you guys can use the material, and you can actually change this base to a white square texture that has Only problem is with white, the sRGB is true, and with black the sRGB is false. That's the only reason why I chose it to be black. But nevertheless, if it was white, we'd have color, and then if we had linear color, there would be errors in our file. And if we do this, I mean, you can change it if you really wanted the default to be different, but can reset this guy. And when we start seeing this, so for example, you guys may not be able to see it, so you can increase the intensity of it, or that may be because of the lighting is quite bad. So we start seeing that, yeah, we do see something there. It's just that it's pretty dark. Yeah. And yeah, for example, if we brighten this up, should brighten up the color. And if you adjust our roughness, so for example, if we make it super metallic, we can start seeing that it's reflecting black, and that's basically the reflection. Okay. So it's up to you guys. I would prefer it to be on a linear color scale so that I can actually type black and then save this material function. Alright, and in the next video I'll show you guys how to use this material function and what are the properties of it, or at least what I like about it. Alright, so see you around in the next video. Bye bye.